everybody. It's the puck just dropped. It's time for your morning ice. What's going on? This is your morning ice in the crease with Tommy C. Big night in the National Hockey League. We got a lot to talk about. I think there's a very good chance that we're going to be doing a little more than 30 minutes today. There's just too much to talk about. Let's go over last night's games. Montreal takes Toronto on a lucky bounce towards the end of the third period. They take it 4-3. Philadelphia and Boston get together in TD Garden, put on one sloppy affair. Boston goes over the Philadelphia Flyers 2-1. Hey, good pick, by the way, Dave. That's dead on.
Nothing but dead on.
Yeah, always. Vancouver pounds the Calgary Flames in Calgary 4-2. And the San Jose Sharks ruin the party in Los Angeles, much to the joy of Jeff Huffman. They pound the Los Angeles Kings, and Jonathan Quick ends up getting pulled. The 3 or 4 or 15 captains they have over there in San Jose seems to get the job done. And with me, as usual, from the original, my favorite shot from the point, Chicago, dead on, Dave. Dave, welcome to the program. We got a lot to talk about, man.
What's up, partner? Let's get to it because the puck has dropped.
The puck is dropped. I'm ready to go. You're ready to go. I feel real good about this. It's just great. I apologize last night for the Shot from the Point special. I obviously can't take it. I am overworked and underpaid. And underpaid meaning by zero. I'm not making any money at this. And, who says I should anyway? All right. First thing I want to get into right away, with further ado, before we talk about the Stanley Cup champions banner raising, before we talk about Chris Pronger possibly going to player safety, before we start talking about Joe Thornton, before we start talking about everything, Mike Milbury made a shocking comment. I want you to hear this, goofballs. You
for guys that have moved on, you mentioned Thornton. You have Rosehill for Philadelphia. It's down with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms. Then you look down the list. Some guys who are not up in the NHL playing right now. What is this telling you about the league in general?
It's telling you that teams want to possess the puck. And if you can't handle the puck, there's a good chance that you're not going to be in the lineup. So you have to be able to fight, but you also have to be able to play, much like Thornton could.
It's telling me that it's time to get rid of fighting. Telling me it's over. As much as I like the good scrap in my day, too many issues here involving concussions, too many problems. The teams are going away from it. Let's grow up and get rid of it.
And even a coach like Craig Berube, who was an enforcer, willing to go away. Yeah,
that's interesting. I don't know that he would want it to completely go away, but there's no question it's moving in the direction that Mike speaks of.
Okay, we've talked about this before as far as advanced stats, actually bringing Corsi's in. Enforcers are out. But here's the thing. Milbury jumped the gun as usual because he's outrageous, and that's why I think people watch him, because he says so many nutty things and what have you. First of all, we don't know, just because all these moves in the offseason related to advanced stats are going to change the game. We're still in the entrance phase. Now, the enforcer may die a death on its own. But it's Milbury's just throwing it, and for a guy who jumped in Madison Square Garden and beat somebody with a shoe, it's the last guy I want to hear talking about fighting. If fighting goes because it's not effective for game winning, I think we all have to accept that. But even if it's not effective, there's no reason to remove it. Yeah. I don't want to see. I mean, look, if every player on the ice is Patrick Goddamn Kane. On every team, which it seems to be, which, by the way, you can't do, a fight may break out. I don't know if I want guys getting game misconducts for that. I also don't want a situation where we're at the end of the third period and we're having clear bench brawls because nobody gives a shit about what's happened the next day. Another thing that the anti-fighting folks can't think about it. Now, puck possession may be a new trend. We don't know. I have a feeling there's some strong truth to that. But I don't know how Milbury just comes in and interjects. Okay, this is why we have to grow up. The word grow up, get rid of fighting. Yeah. First of all, it's been a part of the sport. It has nothing to do with being immature or mature. It obviously enhances the game. The Philadelphia Flyers used it in the 70s to actually win Stanley Cup. They used it strategically. This is a jump to conclusion. Just because everybody's on friggin' board like the Toronto Maple Leafs, who lost on a bad bounce, doesn't mean it's going to work. I have to be honest with you. If I didn't believe in advanced stats right now, I'd be calling up enforcers to go with advanced stats heavy teams right now. I want to see how that works because that's how it worked in the past. You intimidate the crap out of them, and then bounces come your way.
I think he's
Where
still embarrassed by what he did. You know, I think this has to do with that. He's still embarrassed by the fact that he embarrassed his team in the league by jumping in the stands and beating a guy with a fucking shoe.
Milbury, you kidding me? He's a sociopath like me.
I'm going to try and keep myself calm because there's so much about this that pisses me off.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest thing about it that makes me just infuriatingly angry is that fighting and hockey is the one sport where there's instant justice for all of your actions.
I know.
It's the one sport where it's just and fair. You want to fight for a reason, and there's a lot of different reasons to fight in hockey. Mm-hmm. If you need to slow someone's momentum down, if someone took a cheap shot. But guess what? If you do that, you pay for it immediately. It's justice, it's fair, and everybody adheres to it.
Sure.
Rarely does it go too far.
Yeah,
Rarely
I
does
don't
it go too
understand
far.
this. Puck possession's a more important part of the game. We have to get rid of fighting.
That. That's
Think
obvious.
about that statement. It's stupid.
It's
stupid.
such an obvious statement.
Because it's dangerous. Mike Milbury did it for a living. One of the toughest guys to ever lace on skates. Nothing makes me angrier about guys that made a living fighting and all of a sudden are trying to take it away from other guys making a living fighting. Let me tell you, what was the most exciting part of the Boston-Philadelphia series? This hockey blogger who's 32 years old, who managed to climb his way to the National Hockey League, had a throwdown showdown last night. It was the only decent part of the goddamn game. And you mentioned it before. Instant justice. I don't want Europeans coming in leagues, swinging sticks around, acting like jackasses, instead of saying, hey, maybe the fact that we got rid of fighting is a problem. We have to put everybody in a goddamn suit of armor.
Yep.
That's the thing. And coming from Milbury, and even
it's a joke coming from Milbury.
Yeah, coming from Milbury and guys like Dave the Hammer Schultz, the old Philadelphia Flyers. It just makes me physically ill. I just think that they made their money and they don't really care about anybody else and what have you. If the enforcer dies, which they were really talking about it in the early '90s because fighting did start to die. It's on its own, and then. With the last recent years, with correspondingly with, I don't know if I said that right or not, with NHL ratings increasing, fighting actually jumped back up. Never to the point where it was in the 80s, but it actually jumped back up. But I think this is ridiculous. Listen to what Milbury said. Puck possession is more important. We have to grow up and get rid of fighting. The two things don't even equate.
They don't equate.
We don't have to ban fighting because we actually could leave it. If no fights start, you can still leave it in. I mean, it's ridiculous. And
we have to grow up. What the fuck does that even mean?
It doesn't mean anything.
Does that mean the players have to grow up, or we as an audience
yeah, he's insulting
have
us.
to fucking grow up?
Well, you know? What exactly? You grow up. Stop telling people how to fucking feel. You grow up, you big fat dummy.
Who is he talking to? Is he talking to the players, or is he talking to the audience? The audience likes it. The audience is enthralled by this. Like, we like a little violence. It's okay.
Because the sport is inherently violent.
More
More major concussions come from friggin' from hits anyway. And here's another thing.
Bad board checks and shit. Yeah.
Helmets don't avoid concussions. This ridiculous helmet rule they have now in the league. It's an inherently dangerous sport, and we either accept it or we don't. And the thing is, the fans are not the ones that are upset with it. The players aren't the ones that are upset with it. It's the media.
It's the media, and it's these old-time fucking players, too, like in the NFL. Yeah. It's the old-time retiree players that didn't get their cut of the money that people are making now, and they're trying to sue the league and do what they can to get a little chunk of it. It's bitterness, it's envy, and it's greed, and it's not much more than that.
No,
and let me tell you, I could go off on this for hours.
I absolutely agree with you. Guess what? Jeff the Huffman wants to join us.
Again? Oh, God. Don't you have your own show?
Yeah, don't. What you got, Jeff?
What's up?
What
I just
you
have
got?
to say this one thing before I'll let you go.
Mm-hmm.
Milbury is an idiot.
Yes.
He's a moron. He's a moron. It's a moronic statement.
That's all I got.
All right. Jeff the Huffman, always contributing here on the Shot from the Point production channel. Hey, you have a good day at school, bud. Unless you got something else.
If you got something else.
You're more than welcome to stay, Jeff. You can't do that to me. You get out. You can't do that. Dallas penalty. Number 15.
No,
Yeah, I mean, I can't agree with it. It's just dopey. Yeah. It's dopey on so many damn levels. It's
insulting to a degree too.
I don't know. I think he's just trying. I mean, it's just like Keith Olbermann. When you're
another jackass.
Yeah, it's exactly
a jackass to a jackass.
It's a Keith Olbermann situation. He needs attention. He's all washed up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what it comes down to. All right, I want to touch on another thing. All right, Leaf fans already down on their captain, Dion Phaneuf. He's already taken heat. Leafs had a very, very good game last night. Bad bounce didn't go their way. I thought they had a lot of high energy. They didn't look
game
like
of the night, really.
No, I like the way they played and what have you. And I agree with Nazem Kadri. And he had to say this after the game.
It's tough. It's not the end of the world. I mean, it's one game. It's one loss. So we can rally around each other. We just gotta be a little better, and there's always room for that.
That's right. Bottom line.
That's about as mature and well stated as you possibly can get.
That's it. It was one game. They had a bad bounce. Something advanced stats can't predict.
How about Subban?
PK Subban. I'll tell you something funny with Subban. I actually put down the Toronto broadcast up here. I go back to get a cup of coffee. I come back. They're talking about on primetime Canadian television, Subban farting. I thought that was just stuff for Puck Daddy. Holy Christmas. I tell you something about PK. He can handle anything. He can handle anything. There's like they get him in this uncomfortable conversation about flagellants, and he's such a freaking diplomat. He's like, well, I was on a show where we kind of do edgy stuff and things of that nature. So I do edgy stuff and things of that nature. So we were just kind of kidding around. Most people know that I can't really help it. I'm a little gassy or something like that. He just handled it like a champ. It was
the more I
funny.
hear from PK Subban, the more I like the guy.
I love PK. I mean, I can't believe this guy. He's really good with the media.
He is. You know what? He's good in every aspect. The guy can play.
Yeah.
It's good on so many different levels. If you want to talk from a social standpoint too. The NHL, I think it's about time that we have a real dominant black player. I know this is kind of a weird way to go, but it's true. And this guy can be that type of guy. He can score a bunch of goals. He's a good defenseman. I like this guy.
Well,
he's edgy.
I look, when it comes to stuff like, I just want, hockey players to be hockey players regardless of their color.
Fair enough.
I don't know if
it's a social thing.
I got to be perfect. I hear that statement. I heard it for President Barack Obama. It's time for a black president. Well, it's only time for a black president if he gets elected, and of course he did. It's only time for a good offensive defenseman that's black when someone can perform that. I just don't.
That's true.
I don't believe in this. Like no one's holding black players back. It has
that wasn't
I know. I just want to comment on that because I've heard it before, and I'm not particularly comfortable with the comment. There's nothing wrong with you said. I just disagree with it. It's just like it's time when it happens, unless there's a situation like a Jackie Robinson situation.
That's kind of what I was alluding to a little bit.
Yeah.
When you have a guy like PK Subban he's 25 years old, he can come on and have some success. How do we know the next LeBron James type athlete doesn't change his mind from basketball to hockey because of PK Subban? That's an effect.
Well, no, if you're talking in those terms, you're absolutely correct, and you could also.
That's what I was meaning.
That's one thing that obviously I didn't vote for Barack Obama, and I'm not a big fan of his, but I remember talking to a friend of mine, and he's African American. He was like, "But you don't get. Here's the part you don't get," and he's like, "You don't have to like him or not." Like when I'm growing up, like being black and president is just out of the damn question. It's like it's never going to happen. When you see a black president, it's like, hey, maybe I could be president. Maybe my kid could be president, and that's true. You're absolutely correct. Same thing with PK. He has that kind of impact on young African Americans, young African Canadians, and just people around the world that think, oh wow, that's just a sport for whiteys. Well, there it is.
The only difference is PK Subban's good at what he does.
Yeah, well, that's true. But I mean, you got it. I mean, there is something to be said for hope.
Sure.
And if that's do I have a Ryan Callahan jersey? He's not even on my team anymore, and I just bought it. Why? Because he's Irish American, and I just connect with that, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you want to like a player because he has a certain ethnic background that matches yours, go for it. I like
we all
PK.
do it. Everybody does it.
Let me end the conversation on this. We need a player like PK Subban because he's PK Subban, and he's got a great personality, and I really like him. That's why I like PK Subban. He's a character. He's funny. He's he's a good-looking guy. He's in great shape. He's interesting. He's so intense out there. Had a big goal last night. We need PK because PK is who PK is. Nothing to do with his skin color. Let's go over the Los Angeles Kings. This is really kind of funny. Of course, the San Jose Sharks just pound the ever-living crap, surprisingly enough, of the Los Angeles Kings last night. They nobody could have expected that. San Jose going into this game, they don't even know at this stage like what captain they're going to have. They don't even know at this stage what goaltender they're starting with, and they go out and they pound the Stanley Cup champions. Now, having said that, it's difficult to win this circus of a game where they're bringing out the cup and all this other stuff, but it was the right statement for the Sharks to make. Guess what? We may have lost a series 4 in a row, but we are certainly not done. Absolutely the right statement for the Sharks to make. I still think it's absolutely ridiculous that they have the whole captain thing is just backfired on them. They expected Joe Thornton to leave when he stripped of his captaincy. I think he's at the age right now where that stuff doesn't mean as much. And if I had to guess, and this is a guess, his wife said, no, take your A, go without your captaincy. I like life in San Jose. So he's like, no, I'll just ride it out. And he does. He looks weaker with that. He was stripped of his. There's no reason to strip Joe. Now that I'm thinking about it, if you weren't going to get rid of him, if you weren't going to be able to trade him, you never should have stripped him. And it was just an attempt to humiliate him. It divides the team. It probably divides. Well, maybe actually to unite the team against management.
Good.
And I understand what happened there was really embarrassing last night. But I don't think there's any reason to humiliate Joe like that. Joe is not the only reason they lost 3 straight last year. They collapsed mentally, physically, and that's from the goalies to the
they choked like dogs
to the forwards. Yeah. So I think it was ridiculous.
And they did it as a team.
Yeah. I think it's just ridiculous. Ridiculous that they don't have a captain over there. I think it's silly. It's obvious. It's what Dave Rose says. It's management not knowing what's going on the damn ground. That's a perfect example.
There's 2 things to take away from this game, I think. Mm-hmm. Only 2 things. One, the Tommy Wingels goal was fucking amazing. Mm-hmm. That's one. The other, the only real thing to look at is Antti Niemi and his 34 saves. Because that's impressive no matter who you play. And 34 saves by Antti Niemi, possibly putting his stamp early on that he's the goalie to beat in the league. I like that.
Well, he didn't have a bad year last year,
champs
Dave.
Too.
He didn't have a bad year last year. He's damn good goalie. And last year may have been a fluke. I mean, Patrick. Forget Joe Thornton. What about Patrick Marleau? It wasn't the only thing that went wrong. But tonight, to embarrass the Stanley Cup champions on their home ice when the cup's in the building is exactly what they needed to do. It also got a little frisky out there. I think there was a fight when I was going over that. So good for hockey, good for Western Conference hockey. The Sharks have been one of the elite teams the last couple of years. I don't even have them making the playoffs, but prove me wrong.
I don't even think I picked them for the playoffs. I can't remember. But I will say this.
No, you did. You did take them. You did take them.
I did. Good.
You said playoffs.
Because they stated loud and proud, hey, don't forget about us. And that's what Niemi did, and I loved it. And that goal, man, God, I can't say enough about that goal by Tommy Wingels. My God.
Oh God, it's just no end.
Was it not sick?
I'm gonna put that goal up on the channel. There's absolutely. I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna put it up on the channel. It was bittersweet. Actually, we were broadcasting Shot from the Point live special, which I want to talk about real quick. Listen, I apologize for doing that show. I don't think it was really all that great. It's because it was 4 a.m. here in Europe, and I don't know. If I really tried to cash in on maybe some of the excitement going into. And I tried to do this during the Stanley Cup final with some results. I was trying to cash into the excitement that has everything to do with Wednesday night rivalry and dropping the puck for the first time in the season. I got to be honest with you, even though my more loyal subs were there and what have you, they caught on to it because a lot of them have come from Joe Cronin's show. I didn't get the I didn't get the outside new viewers that I'd hoped, and the show wasn't very good. And I'm not going to put a show on unless I can do my best. So I apologize for having a bad show. Probably have one in the future too. But there was some good stuff. Jake Lincoln and Jeff were great, and Dave Rose saved it. So I don't know if I'm going to be doing those specials in the future. Look for well, we'll get into Morning Ice later at the end of the show. We'll tell the situation.
For what it's worth,
yeah.
You mentioned Joe Cronin, the man himself.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't think the show was that bad. I listened to it. I didn't think the show was that bad. Don't be so hard on yourself. It was a good show. Best you did, and it was perfect. The best you could have done it in the circumstances. It was late.
Yeah.
There's no apologies. You did a great job.
Well, look.
Don't worry about it.
Look, I will say this. I know we've gotten better because my bad jobs 2 years ago and my bad jobs now were like a perfect show back then.
Well, fair enough. But I mean,
Yeah,
you can't be
so.
perfect every night.
Yeah, no, it can't be. Look, I want to put out a lot of content. I want to do other stuff, but I also want to upload highlights. I want to get this fantasy show up. I want to do a lot of things. I couldn't be more sincere that the emails, the callers, the Joe Cronin's fan support, the people that have just come on the Shot from the Point Live. It sounds like I'm sucking up, but it humbles me
It's not
to no
sucking
end.
up.
It really is. It really is nice. So I just. But when I don't deliver, and I don't feel like I mean, look, I've done my best and gotten bad shows. When I don't deliver, I get angry with myself, and I
That's
do apologize.
fair.
For
That's
that.
completely fair. But
So-
you know what?
Yeah.
It was a good show.
It wasn't the worst. It wasn't
No.
the worst. It wasn't the worst. Me and you did worse shows back in the day.
No, I'm incapable of having a bad show. I
That's
don't
right.
know what
I
you're talking
apologize.
about.
I apologize.
If there was a bad show between me and you, it certainly was not me.
All right. What else we got? Chris Pronger is going to be volunteering to be the latest puppet for the player safety group, replacing potentially Brendan Shanahan. Also, I didn't know this. I found this tonight. Brian Leach also took a hike from the player safety group last year. Chris Pronger is. I don't think he hasn't laced him up in about 3 years. He's still officially on the Philadelphia Flyers roster. One of the most devastating defensemen of all time. He was a big man before Zdeno Chara. He's probably a little too old to be hockey. Let's face it. He's retired. He's kept on the roster for cap reasons. But by bringing Pronger in, a guy who's been suspended 8 times in the league in his career, they're doing something similar that they did with Shanahan. It's so you don't question the judgment of the player because he was tough and you weren't. He played in the NHL and you didn't. The problem with the I never believed, it is a conspiracy theory, that Brendan Shanahan suspended one single player, because suspensions don't make sense. They seem to be based on skill sets. They appeased the media with the John Scott situation last year, where he did throw a botched hit. He should have been suspended, and for his first suspension in 8 years for the type of style he plays, enforcer, hard hitting, he was suspended for 7 games, which is usually a suspension you give a repeat offender. Martin Hazlitt, the Arizona, the then Phoenix Coyotes, who is a repeat offender and repeatedly suspended, committed a foul the day before, and he was only given 3 games. So we know that the player safeties group has been ridiculous, hypocritical, and it really is just to get the media violence haters or anti-fighting crew off their back. Really just people that want to destroy the NHL and probably don't watch it anyway. So Pronger apparently wants to step in that role.
He wants to be a puppet, be a puppet.
Yeah, I guess so. But no, don't. Chris Pronger was one of the greats, and he probably belongs in the Hall of Fame. And in my opinion, he's won cups with the Ducks, and he was actually he's one of the last Hartford Whalers that's still technically active. Drafted. I think he was a first-round draft pick overall, if I'm not mistaken, by Hartford when they were struggling. And to step into that role, I'm glad the guy's got a job. I'm not going to disrespect, but I don't believe that. I think based on the John Scott situation, or you could even throw in the Rick Nash situation in late 2013, where he hit I think it was a Florida Panther over the head, and they made a video why they shouldn't have suspended him. I mean, it's ridiculous. 7 games for a first-time suspension, John Scott. And really the only reason, he's not well-liked by the media because he's basically only a 6'8" enforcer. So, and then when they make the suspension video, they point out the fact that they actually use the fact that he never got a suspension before against him by saying, well, he knows how to hit people correctly. It's a botched hit. Anybody can botch a hit. So, Pronger wants to say, I can't see Chris Pronger. He's his own man. I really can't see him enjoying himself in this. I recommend you stay away from it, Chris. You're not gonna making your own judgment. It's a political job. You're not a politician. You're a great hockey player, and I would suggest moving on to something else. If that gets your foot in the door and you want to bounce in the air, which is what I think is going to happen over here, you're going to see these guys are going to bounce on and off. They're just going to bounce in and out of this dump because it's a show job. Gary
One
Bettman,
former tough guy after another just walking through the door because they feel it brings legitimacy to their fucking
that's
calls.
all it is. So you can't question him.
Bullshit.
Who could dare question Brendan Shanahan? I mean, he was one of the top players. Yeah, well, that's true, but that's the idea. Well, you as tough as Shanahan? What do you know? He knows more about the game than you, which is true. But it doesn't mean the suspensions make sense.
Look, it doesn't make sense when you can see the fucking strings of
I
the
have
puppet.
the same two eyes. Both of them work that Brendan Shanahan does. Probably work better because I didn't get beat up as much. That's pretty much all I got.
Skipped a couple games.
What do you got in your notes, Litz? Anything interesting?
Well, we skipped the Canucks and Flames game.
Oh, we did. Yeah, but wasn't that interesting? I mean, I'm going to take a look at it. Canucks come out. They beat the hell out of Calgary with Ryan Miller's debut. Miller gave up 2 goals. Calgary, I don't know. I just didn't think it was that interesting a game.
And we also skipped my perfect prediction, the Bruins winning 2-1 over the Philadelphia
skip
Flyers.
That. I did mention that. Boring game last night, Wednesday Night Rivalry. Probably the worst time to do a show. Really.
We did talk about sloppy real quick.
Yeah, it was just, look, we should talk about that. Look, I'm not jumping on the players. It was sloppy out there. And, the Bruins are kind of going with the new style. They're trying to be a little more offensive minded. I don't understand because they went to the Stanley Cup final with basically the way they were playing. But I think that's what it is. It's the burn of the Chicago Blackhawks beating them in 2013. So they feel like they have
and then not making it last year.
Yeah, not making it last year. And yeah, but it's funny. Like somebody mentioned to me, and you don't have the Canadians going to the playoffs. Interestingly enough, which I thought was a bold, ballsy move. But if the Montreal is kind of like built just to beat the Bruins, and I think that's the reason they lost to the Rangers. So and now I think I don't know with the advanced stat stuff. I don't know what kind of influences. They obviously still feel the need for an enforcer with this new guy who had a fight last night. What is his name?
Oh, God.
I got it. No, you know what? I don't want to open this because it does slow the broadcast down.
As much as to touch on the Montreal thing real quick, as much as I like Montreal and as much as I like PK Subban, I don't think they have enough offensive firepower when arguably one of your better offensive weapons is a defenseman.
Well, I mean, they have Pacioretty. Pacioretty had a nice goal last night. I think they have. I mean, Lars Eller's coming into his own.
That's what I'm worried about.
I got to be honest with you. My problem is the defense. I mean,
I'm worried about Carey Price too.
Well, they have Carey Price, and I think they probably relied a little too heavily on him. And they also got that. I wonder if that guy's better. It's freaking Dustin Toharski, the way he played in the playoffs. So I thought there was conditioning problems on the blue line. I mentioned that to 2 Montreal Canadiens fans that called in for Shot from the Point Live Sunday, 3 p.m. every Sunday. And
nice plug.
Yeah, pretty cool, pretty good one. I'm gonna start doing that more often. And I mentioned it, and they agree. There's a kind of blue line. They're just uncomfortable with what's possibly going on the blue line over there, and I don't know if they didn't look very well conditioned. The Rangers kept them in their own zone for a long time. You want to talk about puck possession? Puck possession when you're blocking shots all the damn time, that's not good puck possession. If that's the wave of the future, I don't really have a lot of faith in Montreal. They will make the playoffs, though.
Beating Toronto doesn't impress me either because I don't think Toronto's shit either. So
I want to see how this works. I thought Toronto had a lot of energy in that game. I didn't think they were ever out of it. A bad bounce. I think Montreal,
it was a good game. It was a really good game.
We got screwed as Americans. The good game was in Canada.
That's really not surprising, though.
No. Individual 6
hockey,
teams.
they breathe it.
Guy Carbonneau is there as a representative of Montreal Canadiens. The great Dougie Gilmore showed up. That made Dave Rose real happy. So it was good stuff. The only other thing I want to talk to, we already went over the time slot. This is a quick conversation, and it's not what you think it is. It's something that really concerns me. There's been so much talk about the Buffalo Sabres getting Connor McDavid, the first-round draft pick overall. They recently changed the rules and had sort of a lottery, but if you finish lower down, you have a better average chance of getting Connor McDavid. I'm actually for, I don't care where you finish, just non-playoff teams in a regular one-bowl lottery. I find it embarrassing, and I can't believe the media hasn't picked up on this. It already looks like, considering the trades they made, that the Buffalo Sabres are deliberately tanking for this guy, for the new Sidney Crosby. This is against the rules. And they made some sort of slight change that I didn't really understand the subtlety of over the summer, and then the owner of the Buffalo Sabres had a heart attack. You could not put a team out there to lose. It's wrong. It's probably illegal. So this idea is like, okay, we're going to have a bad season, but we're going to get Connor McDavid. Nobody. They should be trying to put the best team on the ice humanly possible.
Unfortunately, in sports, this is not uncommon.
I have never seen it at this level, and I understand something
Really?
with basketball. I've never seen it like, well, they're going to get. I hope they don't get it. I'm rooting against the Buffalo Sabres this year. This is disgusting.
You know, I agree with you. It is disgusting, but maybe it's unheard of in hockey, but in sports in general, tanking is not unusual.
Let me tell you something. Somebody told me, as I was a hockey player, especially if I was a veteran of the Buffalo Sabres, to tank, punch them straight in the face. But I don't think that's exactly what happened. I have a little trouble believing they'd go to those guys. Hey, maybe
they're not going to the players. No, this is just a management thing, putting the worst product they can.
They should lose this franchise.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you on that.
They should do you goodbye.
Yeah,
and here's the way you solve the problem. Here's the way you solve the problem. Dead last doesn't mean you get the first-round draft pick. Yeah, it doesn't mean that now, but the percentage chances, I guess, are overwhelming. Actually, maybe it's fine the way it is.
If you ask the NBA and you talk to NBA teams, finishing last doesn't do it anymore. In fact, rarely does the last place finish team actually win the number one overall pick. It hasn't happened in a couple years, as a matter of fact. Shit, the Derrick Rose draft, the Bulls were a 1.7% chance to get that pick. They got it, and they fucking changed the franchise with Derrick Rose. The last 2 years, it's been the Cavs. They haven't had the worst record in the league. It's been the fucking Philadelphia 76ers.
Yeah, but with hockey, the dead last team has been winning the last couple years. So.
Well, that's just bouncing the ping pong balls, man. It's insane. It's crazy.
I can't believe
and it's wrong.
I just had a fucking Jeff Huffman moment. There's nowhere I can really go with it. You laughing?
It's funny. A Huffman moment.
I certainly did. I had
a moment of Huffman.
I just had a Huffman moment, and no one's gonna know what that means. And
it's okay. Inside
and I'm not
jokes
happy with
it.
Believe me. See, everybody can screw up. I told you that. I told you. I told you, Jeff. Oh, Jesus Christ. So, yeah. I'm never doing a late night show again. It makes me unsharp.
You're so burned out, man.
Yeah.
But this is the last show of the week.
Oh, yeah, it's true. It's the last show of the week. Oh, I have some bad news, folks. We're still going Monday through Thursday with Morning Ice and Increase Tommy C. Get on Dave Van Cura. Here's the problem. I might be getting a job, and I also might be having to take some German courses over here as a part of my duty, as I'm, sort of got the green card equivalent of being here in Germany. So I need to get to work. Me and Dave are going to do absolutely everything we can to make In the Creek with Tommy C, whether it's morning ice, whether it's evening ice, whether it's a daily hockey 30-minute, at very least 30-minute podcast. We're going to keep it up. I really like this. More straight up. And, of course, we have Shot from the Point live on Sundays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, the craziest hockey podcast, a newscast. But we'll be doing everything we can with that. All right, tonight's games. Here we go. I can't see it right. God damn it. I'm definitely having a Jeff Huffman moment. Okay. Me and Jeff Huffman get it on. New York Rangers at the St. Louis Blues. They open up away. That's the second year in a row the Rangers opened up away. Oh, wow, with Willie Fleetwell, the announcer for Dead on Dave show. Sorry. Well, how did he make an appearance? Columbus at Buffalo Sabres, a team that's going to deliberately tank. New Jersey takes on the Philadelphia. Philadelphia has 2 games back-to-back. The Anaheim Mighty Bucks over at Pittsburgh. That's a tough opener for the Mighty Ducks. Eastern Conference, good team like
Pittsburgh
that.
might be without Malkin.
And yes, potentially, but actually the reports are coming now that he might actually be there. The Montreal Canadiens take on, yeah, that's what I'm hearing now. Well, who the hell knows? The Montreal Canadiens at the Washington Capitals, Boston Bruins at Detroit. That should be a good game. Florida Panthers, Tampa Bay Lightning, Ottawa Senators will meet the Nashville Predators. Chicago Blackhawks get it on with the D. And the Colorado Avalanche take on Minnesota, Calgary at Edmonton. And the Winnipeg Jets take on Arizona. Big shout out to Terry and Winnipeg. We really hope you have have a great hockey season and what have you. All right, Dave, I think we're done.
I think we've reached the maximum effectiveness of this show. Stay
tuned this weekend, possibly for the. I'm going to start releasing something called Epic 3. You can make a search for it. Maybe I'll probably actually check later. If you check this for to the 2 Epic 3 pilot episodes that we did, I'm actually going to put it in a playlist on the main channel's website, so you might want to check that out there. And enjoy your hockey week. Good luck to teams, and we'll see you 3 p.m. Sunday Eastern Standard for Shot from the Point Live, the craziest hockey news show ever known to man. All right, see you later, Dave.
Hit me up on Twitter at @ThatOnDaveV.
Yeah, sorry about that. I knew I had to do something.
It's all good, baby.
I'm never doing that again. Never doing that again, even though I'm much sharper than I was last night. All right, take care, everybody. Peace.
Peace.